You might think you're eating healthy, but what if some of your everyday foods are quietly working against you? If you're managing high blood pressure, you've probably been told to reduce salt. But here's the tricky part. Sodium hides in places you'd never expect. Even foods that seem harmless or even healthy can contain enough sodium to derail your progress. In the first 30 to 45 seconds of this video, let's call out the truth. Avoiding obvious salty snacks isn't enough. The real challenge lies in spotting and eliminating the hidden sodium lurking in common foods. And if you're following a diet for hypertension, this knowledge is critical. We'll uncover the 6 worst hidden sodium offenders and how they sneak their way onto your plate. Why is this important? Because sodium is a master of disguise. It raises your blood pressure slowly and silently, often without you noticing until it's too late. That's why understanding where it hides is one of the smartest things you can do for your heart. And that's what today's video is all about. The good news. You don't have to eliminate all flavor or convenience from your meals. You just need to make smarter choices. This video will give you the tools to do exactly that, so you can stay on track with your diet for hypertension and still enjoy food. Every label, every ingredient list holds a clue, and once you learn to read them with confidence, your health will never be the same. So before you take another bite of that seemingly healthy meal, make sure you're not unknowingly loading up on sodium. Let's lift the curtain on the foods that might be sabotaging your best efforts. Let's dive in. Food number 1, canned vegetables and soups. Canned vegetables and soups may seem like convenient pantry staples, especially for those aiming to eat more greens or get a quick meal on the table. But here's the truth, they can be serious sodium traps. And if you're following a diet for hypertension, this is one of the first places you need to investigate. Let's start with canned vegetables. You might think you're doing something good for your body by choosing green beans, corn, or mixed vegetables in a can. But many of these products are preserved in salt water, and the sodium content can be shockingly high. 1/2 cup serving of canned vegetables can contain 200 to 400 milligrams of sodium or more. And that's just a small portion. If you're eating a full cup or adding them to another dish that's already seasoned, you could be unknowingly pushing your sodium intake through the roof. Soups are even more deceptive. A single can of soup, whether it's chicken noodle tomato or even healthy vegetable, can contain 800 to 1,200 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half of the daily recommended limit for someone with high blood pressure in just one bowl. And remember, that's just one part of a meal. Manufacturers use sodium as a preservative and flavor enhancer, but that doesn't mean you have to accept it. There are better options. Look for cans labeled low sodium or no salt added. These versions usually have 140 milligrams of sodium or less per serving. You can also rinse canned vegetables under cold water for 30 seconds to remove up to 40% of the sodium content. Better yet, go fresh or frozen. Fresh vegetables contain no added sodium and are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and fiber essential for anyone on a diet for hypertension. Frozen vegetables, especially those without sauces or seasonings, are also an excellent choice. They're picked at peak ripeness and retain their nutritional value all without the added salt. If you love soup, consider making your own. Homemade soup lets you control every ingredient. Start with a low-sodium broth. Add fresh herbs, garlic, onions, and colorful vegetables, and you've got a warm, comforting dish that fits your dietary needs. Bonus, it's often more flavorful and satisfying than the canned variety. Why does all this matter? Because the sodium in canned products isn't always obvious. It doesn't taste especially salty, and the health claims on the label can be misleading. Terms like heart-healthy light or natural don't guarantee low sodium. You have to flip the can around and check the nutrition label. Serving size matters too. A can that looks like one serving might actually be labeled as 2, doubling your sodium intake if you eat the whole thing. Following a diet for hypertension is about more than eliminating the salt shaker. It's about making informed decisions at every step, from the grocery store to the kitchen. And canned vegetables and soups are one of the easiest pitfalls to fall into. Once you understand where sodium hides, you can make smarter swaps without sacrificing convenience. Your blood pressure and your taste buds will thank you. Food number 2, deli meats and processed meats. Deli meats and processed meats are some of the most common offenders when it comes to hidden sodium, and they can be especially problematic if you're following a diet for hypertension. These foods might be convenient and protein-packed, but what you save in time, you often pay for in added salt. Let's start with deli meats. Turkey ham roast beef, and even chicken slices sold at the deli counter or in plastic packaging are often loaded with sodium. One serving just 2 to 3 slices can contain 500 to 800 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly half of your entire daily limit in a few thin slices. And that's before you add cheese bread or condiments, all of which can contribute even more sodium. Why so much salt manufacturers use it not only for flavor, but also to preserve the meat extend shelf life and improve texture. It's a triple threat. Even varieties labeled healthy, natural, or lean can be deceptively high in sodium. That's why reading the nutrition label is essential. Then there's processed meats like bacon sausages, hot dogs, and salami. These go beyond high sodium. They often come with added nitrates and saturated fats, which are linked to increased cardiovascular risk. Just one hot dog can contain over 600 milligrams of sodium, and some sausages go far beyond that. These aren't just sodium bombs, they're health hazards for anyone with high blood pressure. What's the alternative? Start by looking for low-sodium versions. Some brands now offer reduced sodium turkey or chicken breast with 40% to 50% less sodium than the regular kind. These are better, but moderation is still key. Another option is to cook your own meat and slice it thinly for sandwiches. A roasted chicken breast or lean pork tenderloin prepared at home can provide the same convenience with far less sodium and no preservatives or additives. When preparing sandwiches, go for whole grain bread with no more than 130 milligrams of sodium per slice. Add fresh vegetables for crunch and skip the cheese, or opt for a low-sodium version. You'll still get flavor and satisfaction without putting your blood pressure at risk. Processed meats are everywhere, from breakfast plates to party platters, but the more you limit them, the better off your heart will be. If you're serious about sticking to a diet for hypertension, reducing or eliminating these meats is one of the most powerful steps you can take. Awareness is everything. You don't have to give up all your favorites, but you do need to become a smarter shopper. Sodium hides behind flavor convenience and marketing buzzwords. Knowing what's in your food puts the power back in your hands, and that's the kind of control that makes a real difference in your health. For special occasions, consider plant-based meat alternatives or homemade spreads like hummus or mashed avocado for your sandwiches. These options can be tasty, satisfying, and far lower in sodium, making them a smart fit for your diet for hypertension. With just a few changes, you can keep the convenience and flavor you love without compromising your health goals. Food, number 3, bread and bakery products. Bread and bakery products might not taste salty, but they're often loaded with sodium, and that makes them a sneaky threat in a diet for hypertension. Most people think of chips, fast food, or canned soup when it comes to high sodium. But your daily toast sandwich or muffin could be quietly pushing your blood pressure in the wrong direction. Let's talk numbers. A single slice of store-bought bread can contain anywhere from 120 to 250 milligrams of sodium. That might not sound like much, but most people don't stop at one slice. A typical sandwich with 2 slices of bread already brings you close to 500 milligrams of sodium before you even add fillings or condiments. And that's just the beginning. Buns, bagels, English muffins, and rolls often contain even more sodium than sliced bread. A bagel, for example, can pack over 400 milligrams of sodium, and sweet pastries can surprise you with their salt content too. Sodium acts as a preservative and a flavor enhancer in bakery goods, especially in mass-produced products that sit on store shelves for days or weeks. Even whole grain or multi-grain breads, which sound like healthier options, can be sodium heavy. The best approach is to always check the nutrition label. Look for options with 140 milligrams of sodium or less per slice. And when possible, choose fresh-baked breads from local bakeries that don't rely on preservatives. Just be sure to ask about their sodium content. If you enjoy baking at home, you're in luck. Making your own bread or muffins gives you total control over what goes in. You can reduce or skip the salt altogether, use potassium-rich ingredients like flaxseed or oats, and still get delicious, satisfying results that support your diet for hypertension. There's also the matter of portion control. Bakery items tend to be oversized, and it's easy to eat more than you intend. Being mindful of serving sizes and learning to be satisfied with smaller portions can help reduce your overall sodium intake without feeling deprived. For those who rely on bread for breakfast or lunch, think about alternatives. Try using lettuce wraps, whole grain rice cakes, or even sliced sweet potato toast as a base. These are naturally lower in sodium and offer additional nutrients that support heart health. Another helpful habit is to reduce what you stack on top of bread. Pairing salty deli meats or processed cheese with high-sodium bread creates a double hit to your blood pressure. Instead, use fresh vegetables, avocado hummus, or homemade low-sodium spreads. You'll still get texture and flavor, but in a way that's aligned with a diet for hypertension. It's easy to overlook how much sodium comes from bread because we eat it so frequently and in small portions. But those small portions add up, especially when eaten multiple times a day. Once you start paying attention, though, you'll be surprised at how many better choices are out there. Food sucker 4. Condiments and sauces. Condiments and sauces are often the flavor boosters of our meals, but they're also some of the worst culprits when it comes to hidden sodium. For anyone on a diet for hypertension, they represent a silent danger because their small serving sizes mask just how much sodium they contain. Let's start with some of the most common offenders: soy sauce, ketchup, mustard, and salad dressings. A single tablespoon of regular soy sauce can contain over 900 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly 2/3 of your recommended daily intake. Even light soy sauce, while lower, can still deliver a heavy dose of salt. Ketchup and mustard may seem innocent, but 1 or 2 tablespoons can quietly add 300 to 400 milligrams of sodium to your plate. Salad dressings, especially bottled varieties, can be just as sneaky. Creamy dressings like ranch and Caesar often contain not only high sodium levels, but also unhealthy fats. Even vinaigrettes labeled as light or healthy may have 250 milligrams or more per serving. And since most people pour freely, a single salad can become a high-sodium meal without you even realizing it. Barbecue sauce, hot sauce, steak sauce, and marinades also deserve a close look. These are often packed with sodium, sugar, and preservatives, making them a triple threat to heart health. Just 1 tablespoon of BBQ sauce can pack 300 milligrams or more, and who stops at 1? So what's the solution? First, become a label reader. Check serving sizes carefully and look for options labeled low sodium or no salt added. There are growing numbers of brands catering to heart-healthy diets with sauces that offer flavor without excessive sodium. But beware of marketing terms like reduced sodium. They may still be too high for someone following a diet for hypertension. Better yet, try making your own condiments. Homemade salad dressings using olive oil, vinegar, lemon juice, herbs, and spices can be both delicious and sodium conscious. Blend your own tomato sauce using fresh or no salt added canned tomatoes and garlic. Even hummus and guacamole can be prepared at home with minimal or no added salt. Another trick is portion control. If you love a certain sauce, try using it as a drizzle or mixing it into dishes rather than pouring it over the top. A little flavor goes a long way, and this can help reduce your sodium intake without eliminating the taste you enjoy. Also, don't underestimate the power of natural flavor enhancers. Garlic fresh herbs, citrus, chili flakes, and vinegar can add brightness and depth to your meals without a single grain of salt. These ingredients are staples in many cuisines that emphasize heart health and make it easier to stick with a diet for hypertension. The key takeaway is these condiments aren't bad, but the way we use them often is. By becoming more aware of their sodium content and making a few smart swaps or DIY choices, you can still enjoy bold, exciting flavors while protecting your blood pressure. Food number 5, frozen meals. Frozen meals are the go-to solution for busy days. They're fast, convenient, and require almost no effort. But if you're managing your blood pressure, frozen meals can quietly sabotage your progress. These products are some of the most sodium-packed items in the grocery store, making them a serious red flag for anyone on a diet for hypertension. One frozen meal might not seem like a problem, but the numbers tell a different story. A single serving can contain anywhere from 700 to 1,800 milligrams of sodium, depending on the brand and dish. That's more than the entire recommended daily limit for someone with high blood pressure. Worse, some of the most popular varieties like lasagna meatloaf or stir-fry bowls contain multiple servings per package, and most people eat the entire thing in one sitting. The danger here isn't just the amount of sodium, but how hidden it is. Many frozen meals are marketed as healthy, lean, or low-calorie, which gives the impression that they're a smart choice. But while these options may be lower in fat or calories, they often rely on sodium to make up for flavor. This is especially true for diet-specific brands that emphasize portion control, but skimp on fresh ingredients. That doesn't mean all frozen meals are off the table. The key is learning how to read the label and choose wisely. Look for meals with fewer than 500 milligrams of sodium per serving and no more than 600 total. Prioritize those with plenty of vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. Skip anything breaded, fried, or loaded with cheese sauces. They tend to be the worst sodium offenders. Another helpful strategy is to build your own freezer meals. Spend a few hours on the weekend cooking large batches of soups, stews, stir-fries, or casseroles using low-sodium ingredients. Freeze them in individual portions for a quick homemade alternative that's tailored to your diet for hypertension. This approach lets you control every element from the seasoning to the portion size. If you're eating a frozen meal, balance it with fresh, low-sodium sides. Add a side of steamed vegetables, a mixed green salad with homemade dressing, or a slice of fruit. These extras help dilute the sodium load and add nutrients that support heart health like potassium and fiber. Microwavable foods are part of modern life, and there's no shame in using them. But for those managing high blood pressure, it's vital to understand how much sodium can sneak into these meals. Don't let marketing labels lull you into a false sense of health. Always check the nutrition facts panel and compare brands before you buy. With more heart-conscious options appearing in the freezer aisle, now's a great time to take control. By paying attention and planning ahead, you can enjoy the convenience of frozen meals while still protecting your heart and staying committed to your diet for hypertension. Food number 6, breakfast cereals and snack foods. Breakfast cereals and snack foods might appear innocent, especially those labeled whole grain or low fat. But if you're following a diet for hypertension, these everyday items can quietly load your body with sodium before you even realize it. The morning bowl of cereal, or that mid-afternoon snack, could be a silent culprit behind elevated blood pressure. Let's start with breakfast cereals. While they're not known for being salty, many processed cereals contain sodium as a preservative or flavor enhancer. One serving can have anywhere from 150 to 300 milligrams of sodium. That might not sound like much, but most people pour more than one serving into their bowl. Add milk and maybe a slice of toast or fruit on the side, and your day starts with a surprisingly high sodium intake. Even healthy cereals that focus on heart health can be problematic. Granolas, bran flakes, and whole grain mixes often use sodium to boost shelf stability and taste. Some of the worst offenders are instant oatmeal packets, which may be flavored with cinnamon fruit or maple. These convenient options can contain up to 400 milligrams of sodium per packet. If you're eating these daily, it's a serious concern for anyone watching their salt intake. Now consider snack foods, crackers, chips, popcorn, trail mixes, even baked or veggie snacks. Many of these are loaded with sodium, even if they don't taste overly salty. One small handful of crackers can contain 200 to 300 milligrams, and salty nuts or pretzels may have even more. It's easy to underestimate serving sizes, which leads to consuming more sodium than you think. If you're serious about maintaining a diet for hypertension, make smarter swaps. For cereals, choose plain rolled oats or shredded wheat with no added sodium. You can sweeten them naturally with fruit cinnamon or a drizzle of honey. If you're craving something crunchy, air-popped popcorn with a pinch of salt-free seasoning can satisfy that urge without sabotaging your goals. Look for snack options labeled low sodium or no salt added. Fresh fruit, raw vegetables with hummus plain yogurt with berries, or a handful of unsalted almonds can deliver the satisfaction you're looking for without the sodium overload. These whole food choices are also rich in nutrients like potassium and fiber, which help balance blood pressure. Another key strategy: read labels carefully and know your portion sizes. Don't be fooled by flashy marketing or vague health claims. A product might be gluten-free organic or made with whole grains but still pack in excessive sodium. Compare brands and don't settle for the first option on the shelf. Planning ahead helps too. Keep heart-healthy snacks within reach so you're not tempted by high-sodium convenience foods. A little preparation goes a long way when you're building a sustainable, satisfying diet for hypertension. In the end, it's not about cutting out snacks or breakfast entirely. It's about choosing options that align with your health goals. When you shift your focus from habit to intention, even your snacks can support a stronger, healthier heart. Hidden sodium is everywhere, in canned vegetables, deli meats, breads, sauces, frozen meals, and even your breakfast cereal. And while each of these foods may seem minor on its own, their cumulative effect can have a major impact on your blood pressure and long-term health. For anyone committed to a diet for hypertension, awareness is not optional, it's essential. The good news is you don't need to eliminate all these foods from your life. Instead, focus on making smarter choices. Read nutrition labels closely. Choose products labeled low sodium or no salt added. Whenever possible, opt for fresh whole foods that naturally contain less sodium and more nutrients. And don't underestimate the power of homemade meals. They allow you full control over what you're eating. But perhaps, most importantly, don't let perfection become the enemy of progress. You're not expected to be flawless overnight. What matters most is consistency and informed decision-making. Every small improvement in your daily choices adds up to meaningful benefits over time. That's the power of a well-informed approach to managing hypertension through diet. If you found this video helpful, you'll love what we offer here at Active Healthcare. Our channel is dedicated to helping people over 50 take control of their health with evidence-based tips on nutrition, lifestyle, and wellness. Whether you're just starting your journey or looking to fine-tune your strategy, we're here with expert guidance and practical advice. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Your heart and theirs will thank you.